Everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? Um, what we're going to be talking about right now is something that I was like, why the hell would she do that? You know, it was one of those. So, Pam Bondi, she she should have never. How the hell was she even entrusted with any of this? That's what I want to know. And I supported her, but not anymore. There is undercover footage, and I have it, that shows her telling a complete stranger in a DC restaurant on April 28th that the FBI possesses tens of thousands of videos, and it's all with little ones related to Jay Epstein. Now, this casual revelation, as if she's just having lunch with a friend. Hey, let's just talk. No. You're not supposed to talk to anybody about this. It's far more specific than anything previously acknowledged in official statements. It came when a concerned citizen approached her and asked her about a timeline for releasing the files. 9 days after being recorded, she made almost identical statements publicly on May 7th. Now, the Attorney General suggested that the disturbing content is why the DOJ has been slow to release materials, stating privately, "People don't understand, but that's what they've been working on going through."
Do you know when the Epstein files are going to get released?
We hope soon. The FBI's been.
Okay.
So-
Any dates?
No, you know what it is? There are tens and thousands of videos.
Yeah.
And it's all with little hints. So they have to go through every one. There are tens and thousands of videos.
Yeah.
And it's all with little hints.
There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child.
Her statements about the tens of thousands of videos related to J.E., I'm going to refer to him as that, were part of a broader context where this administration promised transparency on J.E.'s case, releasing the initial files in February of 2025 that contained mostly previously leaked information. And to be honest, I was extremely disappointed with all of it, because when I read through it, and I did a video about it and everything, and I was just like, what is this? I mean, it was just garbage. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, especially like, content creators and stuff like that, we expected like new revelations. We expected bombshells. We expected like, bam, we want, and that's not what we got at all. And this case remains a focal point due to its connections to high-profile figures, including a former president, Clinton, and ongoing public demand of full disclosure. We want to know, darn it, and it's exacerbated by J.E.'s demise in 2019 and the subsequent conspiracy theories. Did he or didn't he, right? So Pam Bondi's statement, it aligns with earlier reports that the FBI is reviewing extensive evidence, including videos, documents, and the delay, though, in releasing these materials has fueled speculation and criticism, especially after one of the girls that came forward, her name is Virginia Guffrey, she passed just a few weeks ago, which some believe was tied to the case. Okay. Now, this recording of Bondi raises a lot of questions about the timing, about the method of information disclosure. contrasting with official channels and highlighting tensions between transparency and security in handling such a sensitive case. Now, this incident occurs amidst a political climate where figures like Marco Rubio have taken aggressive stances on national security, including visa revocations for students involved in protests, suggesting a broader crackdown on perceived threats to U.S. interests, right? Now, Bondi's handling of this case and its files have been a source of frustration and controversy for all of us, primarily due to the perceived lack of transparency and the slow pace of releasing information. So I'm going to give you a breakdown of her approach and the underlying issues in my own words, okay? Now, when it comes to the promise of transparency, as the Attorney General, initially she promised the release of the related files, aligning with President Trump's campaign pledge for full disclosure, right? Well, this was part of a broader effort to address public demand for accountability in the case, which involves allegations and connections to powerful individuals. Now, in February of 2025, she released the first phase of declassified files, but these contained mostly previously leaked information lacking new revelations. This pissed a lot of us off, including conservative figures as well as lawmakers who expected more substantive disclosures. For instance, Representative Anna Paulina Luna, she expressed frustration, noting that the release did not meet expectations, and it didn't at all whatsoever. So Bondi's comments about the tens of thousands of videos and hundreds of victims indicate that the sheer volume of material that the FBI is reviewing, the extensive evidence, including potentially disturbing content, requires careful handling to ensure legal and ethical standards are met before public release. So the process is likely slowed by the need to redact sensitive information and protect ongoing investigation or privacy rights as well. So releasing such sensitive information prematurely could compromise ongoing or future legal actions. It could also endanger those who were victimized as well. Or it could also violate privacy laws, okay? So Bondi's role as Attorney General involves balancing transparency with these considerations, which might also explain the cautious approach. And the undercover recording, right, where she discussed this with a total stranger, suggests a lapse of discretion, but also highlights the complexity of managing such information. So even though she faces a lot of pressure from both sides of this political spectrum, conservatives expecting the full list to expose corruption are critical of the delays. Meanwhile, you have figures like Glenn Greenwald who have questioned whether there are deeper ties to government or even like intelligence agencies that are being protected. This dual pressure might lead to a defensive stance, focusing on process rather than immediate release. So the lack of timely and comprehensive disclosure has eroded trust, especially given the high-profile nature of the case. And then you have the loss of life when it comes to J.E. and Virginia Guffrey, okay? And then you have to question, did she or did she not by her own hand? So Pam Bondi's statements whether in public or private settings, are scrutinized for consistency and also intent, fueling conspiracy theories and also demands for her resignation or her firing. So, you know, I'm like on the fence about her. I really am. Is she doing it the right way? Yes, but she's also, we've been all calling for mass arrest, but it seems like she's not focusing. I don't know. Maybe she has too much on her plate. Who the hell knows, But why not just give us what we want, right? The answer, I think, lies in the tension between public demand for transparency and the legal, ethical, and security constraints of handling such sensitive information. I mean, her roles require her to navigate these complexities, and the slow pace might be due to ensuring compliance with laws like the Freedom of Information Act and protecting against lawsuits. You don't know if the parents of these littles, will try to sue because they missed and didn't redact enough. So plus you got to figure avoiding interference with current or future legal proceedings, safeguarding the identities and well-beings, especially if they're still under the age, addressing potential implications for intelligence or diplomatic relations, giving J.E.'s alleged connections, because let's not forget, he was a very well-connected individual. He was a financier who handled, you want to talk about handled everybody's finances? He knew what was what and who was who, So, in conclusion, I think Pam Bondi's deal is essentially a balancing act between fulfilling a promise of transparency and managing the risks associated with releasing highly sensitive information. The frustration stems from perception that this balance tips too far towards caution. But from her perspective, it might be necessary to avoid legal repercussions or further harm. I don't know. I mean, this, like the undercover video incident, adds a layer of controversy. It shows a lack of discretion, but it doesn't necessarily change the underlying challenges. But like I said in the very beginning, I am not happy with her right now, because what gives her the right to just sit in a restaurant and someone walks up to you knowing full well who the hell you are and says, when are you going to release the files? And she goes, well, the dirt and the this and the that and the this and the that, you know what I mean? Why are you releasing any kind of information, regardless if you think it's mundane or not? There are littles involved in this. You just zip it and throw that key away. You don't open your mouth to no one and no one at any time. You are the Attorney General. You don't say a flip-flopping word to nobody. In my opinion, you need to be fired. You are not allowed to have a slip up. Nothing. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I will see you in the next one, okay? You stay safe. I get it that everybody makes mistakes, but holy cow, not with a case like this. Okay? Say I plead the fifth and walk away. Put your sandwich down and get out. Okay? All right, I'm out of here. I will see you in the next one. Okay? You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping, and as always, fearless. Ciao.